Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time, and welcome to our channel. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. This right here is some information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. Welcome to our channel where we cover important matters pertaining to the country, the economy, as well as our money. Now, I'm going to tackle a controversial subject, and it's not a very popular subject, but I don't shy away from the truth on our channel. In fact, if you want to reward me for tackling such a difficult subject, please click the like button. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. I'm not really interested in only covering news that essentially gets a lot of views and clicks. I actually want to cover news that is relevant to the economy, relevant to the country, and relevant to us personally in our jobs, in our lives, and news that matters to our wallet. And nothing matters more to your wallet than you having a job and you not being dependent on unemployment benefits. And I'll show you this headline on your screen from CNBC right now. Nothing could be more important than this. Have you been fired, or are you going to be fired for refusing a COVID vaccine? And if that's the case, you likely cannot, I repeat, cannot get unemployment benefits. So what is happening, folks? More and more businesses across the country are requiring their workers to get a vaccine as a condition of employment. In fact, I have done another video on our channel where I essentially covered in great detail, can you be required to get the vaccine? No one can force you to do anything, but an employer can now have a mandate. And the reason they have the mandate is because they have that cover. They have that support, if you will, from the federal government, from President Biden's push to encourage vaccination that, hey, if you're not going to get vaccinated, you could lose your job. Employers across the country like Christiana Care, Northwell Health, Novant Health, UC Health System, and United Airlines have actually fired or about to fire hundreds of unvaccinated workers. In fact, Kaiser Permanente placed more than 2,200 workers, 2,200 workers on unpaid leaves. Now, such workers in most cases do not qualify for unemployment benefits, but there may be exceptions. So what exactly is going on, folks? More and more businesses are requiring that workers get the vaccine, and thousands of workers who are saying, I'm not going to get the vaccine, are losing their jobs and they won't be able to collect unemployment benefits. But there are some exceptions, and this depends on each worker's individual situation according to employment experts, and we'll cover that in this episode of Ignition Time. We'll also give you a link to our resource in the description section below. Now, some states are also trying to change the rules, but here's the bottom line. According to Christopher Moran, who's a partner and employment attorney at law firm Troutman Pepper Hamilton Sanders, he said this: if you don't want to be vaccinated, don't have a religious or disability exemption, and you lose your job, chances are you will be found ineligible for unemployment compensation. So what is actually happening? Northwell Health, which is the largest healthcare provider in New York, recently terminated 1,400 unvaccinated workers. Christiana Care, Novant Health, and UC Health System, these are healthcare providers in Delaware, North Carolina, and Colorado, respectively, cut more than 100 workers each. United Airlines is poised to fire nearly 600 unvaccinated employees, and Kaiser Permanente, which is based in California, said this week that it's going to put more than 2,200 workers on unpaid leaves. Now, I want to be clear, in all of these cases, the employees affected represent a very small share of the company's overall workforce, which suggests that a majority of the employees actually got vaccinated. Now, this issue could affect many, many more people. Approximately 46% of organizations plan to institute a vaccine mandate, according to a survey that was published by Gartner, a consulting firm, in the past 30 days. So, the U.S. Department of Labor is also soon expected to issue a rule mandating vaccines or regular COVID testing among businesses with at least 100 employees. The White House is also requiring vaccines for all federal workers, contractors who do work for the federal government, and healthcare workers at facilities that receive Medicare and Medicaid reimbursements. Now, I want our viewers and subscribers to know that 28% of employed Americans said they would not get a vaccine even if it cost them their job. And this was according to a survey conducted by the Society for Human Resource Management. And this survey involved 1,000 people that were surveyed in January and February in this year. Now, I do believe that attitudes are gradually changing, but the bottom line is this: how does this impact unemployment benefits? So let's examine the link between all of this with unemployment benefits. Now, workers qualify for unemployment benefits in cases of, I quote, eligible job separation, according to Ann Paxton, who's an attorney and policy director at the Unemployment Law Project. Now, they represent individuals in appeals cases when their benefits have been denied. Now, every state is a little different in their interpretation. Now, in most cases and in most states, I want our viewers and subscribers to know, workers can collect benefits after they are laid off or if they quit a job for good cause. And this is very important. I have done other videos on our channel talking about good cause. So definitely check out the unemployment benefits playlist on our channel, or if they get fired for a reason other than misconduct, according to Paxton. Now, here's the problem, folks. A labor agency, your state's labor agency, could deem refusal to comply with a vaccine mandate as, I quote, misconduct. So, if you refuse to get the vaccine and your employer requires you to get the vaccine, your state's labor agency could interpret that as misconduct. Now, losing one's job as a result of misconduct could likely disqualify a worker from unemployment benefits if that refusal is not tied to a medical or religious reason. Similarly, if you quit to avoid a mandate, and if you say, hey, I'm not going to get the vaccine, so I quit, that would also not be likely to be viewed as good cause. And in that situation, also, you're likely to not get unemployment benefits, according to Paxton. Here's another quote from Paxton. I think the consensus is very strong that employers are within their rights to protect workplace safety, and employees are not within their rights to refuse to comply. Now, folks, I want to be very clear. Do not blame the messenger. I'm a reporter on our channel. I'm a citizen journalist. So don't blame the messenger. I'm simply presenting you with the facts. And I know that you can handle the facts. And I'll always tell you the truth wherever the truth might lead us. Now, there are some gray areas with this. This is not a black and white situation. For example, a worker who receives an exemption from their vaccine requirement for a religious or medical reason might not be fired but could be placed by their employer on unpaid leave. Now, since they received a legitimate exemption, a labor agency might approve a claim for benefits in that case. So, there are different situations, and again, state labor agencies could interpret different situations in different ways. In fact, different state agencies have left enough wiggle room for themselves to try and make sure that they can comply with the laws, they can comply with what employers want, and at the same time, they have some wiggle room to make individual interpretations. In fact, according to Washington State Employment Security Department, they said this: some individuals may still qualify based on their own unique circumstances. Now, Washington officials, and again, I'm speaking only about the state of Washington, will weigh factors such as when the employer adopted the vaccine requirement, the specific terms, if you will, of the vaccine policy, and the reason why the employee didn't comply with the mandate. So, if an employee does not qualify for religious or medical accommodation, their unemployment claim would likely be denied, according to this agency. Now, the New York State Labor Department website has taken a similar position. Workers who refuse an employer's vaccine directive may be eligible for benefits, I quote, in some cases if that person's work has no public exposure and the worker has a compelling reason for refusing to comply with the directive. So this is something really, really interesting and something that varies from one state to another. Now, by contrast, New York public employees and workers in healthcare facilities and workers in nursing homes or schools would be disqualified without a valid exemption because these are workplaces where an employer has a compelling interest in such a mandate, especially if they already require other immunizations. Now, Republican lawmakers in the state of Tennessee actually proposed a law earlier this year to let workers who quit their jobs due to a vaccine requirement collect unemployment benefits. Other states, such as Idaho and Michigan, are trying to outlaw terminations based on the vaccine mandate. In other words, what those states are trying to do, Idaho and Michigan, is say, hey, if you refuse a vaccine and your employer requires it, you cannot be terminated. Now, those measures have not yet been successful. In fact, the Montana governor, Greg Gianforte, signed a law in May banning vaccine requirements amongst employers. So you can start to see that this is not just a health care issue. This is also a hot political issue, and it is a complex human issue. But at the end of the day, it does impact the economy, it does impact your money, and it does impact your ability to get back to your job. I hope this video was beneficial. Again, please, please, please click the like button. Please click subscribe. Hopefully, you guys can recognize that this is a complex subject, and it would have been much easier for me to simply avoid this video altogether, because there are strong emotions tied to this subject, and I believe rightly so. However, I've tried to cover this subject by giving you both sides of the story, and I hope you can click the like button, click subscribe, and enable notifications. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.